Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto, and today guys we are taking a cheeky look at ANKR and the all-time highs. So Chris, ANKR's had a phenomenal day today. It's at 40% as we record this video, and it's actually come down quite a bit after becoming very overbought. We're going to get into this all-time high that's ANKR's achieved today in a little bit more detail. We're going to have a look at the charts, we'll have a look at them on the daily, the 4-hourly and the hourly views, and see what's going on here. Are we going to see a bit of a retracement now? We've got this new all-time high, and you know, how low this thing might drop down to, or whether or not this thing still has a lot of momentum in it. So Chris, this is a fantastic project that you're you know, you're absolutely over the moon with at the moment, right?
I am. You know, we were talking about this. What, I can't even remember how far back it was. It wasn't too far back, but you know, we've seen what I think is about 4x now from when we initially started talking about it publicly on the channel. We think it's an immense project. You know, with lots of potential upside. We expect this to keep going, and I think, you know, we were discussing it. I think, did we release a video yesterday on ANKR?
We did, yeah.
Obviously, you know, we moved our position from Reef into ANKR. You know, don't hate us, but you know, this is the choice that we have made, and we've seen significant gains since making that move. Even though ANKR is doing Reef is doing very well today. We're happy for investors in Reef. However, you know, our portfolio is actually looking more healthier since we made that move, and we feel more comfortable with our investment in ANKR, and that's our prerogative.
Absolutely right. So for those who do not know, ANKR is a project that is, you know, all around cloud computing. It truly believes that cloud computing is the future, and it needs to be decentralized as an alternative to the current monopolies that you see with Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, right? So, you know, they are not alone in this mission. There's a whole host of other projects that do very similar thing around this cloud computing and making it decentralized. But ultimately, you know, ANKR was created to provide a new blockchain solution that leverages the idle computing power from, you know, edge devices and data centers around the world. And that's really crucial because a lot of this resource is just going to waste, and ANKR actually enables that data to be used, right? Sorry, that idle computing power to actually be utilized, which is crucially important. So its distributed computing platform enables a sharing economy where consumers will be able to access cloud resources far more affordably, and enterprises will be able to monetize spare computing power. So this thing has a lot of potential to it, and it's something that you definitely probably want to take a look at. Definitely do a lot more research on. Do not just take our word for it. Dig deeper, and you'll find you know, some pretty interesting things. And maybe you'll even come to the same conclusions we did with how good this particular project is. Anyway, with that said, Chris, let's jump on over to the desktop and take a look at what's going on with ANKR and the price today. Right, so ANKR has seen significant gains today. At the point of recording this video right now, it's at 42%. It's actually gone up to 6.6 cents today, which is the all-time high for this particular coin. Now, ANKR is a really low cap project here. It's actually only got a market capitalization of $438 million, so it has a lot of room still to grow. And we can also see that the circulating supply is 6.9 billion, so a lot lower than some other projects, and 70% of the maximum is actually already out in circulating supply. So that's a pretty good metric there as well. So ultimately this thing is looking pretty interesting, right? It's growing quite nicely, and it's still gaining some momentum as we speak. This is the particular rocket that we've seen go off, Chris, since its launch back in 2019 to where it is today. And this thing is seems to be getting a lot of momentum now, and it's fantastic to finally see. Obviously, ANKR's doing some fantastic things, not just for, you know, idle computer power and resources and stuff like that, but also a lot of work with additional projects. It's quite heavily integrated with many, and if you want to run a node or, you know, a validator for a particular project, you can do that with ANKR at a click of a button. There's a whole host of nodes readily available where you can deploy them very, very quickly using ANKR for a monthly fee. So if you wanted to potentially spin up a Bitcoin node, you can do that with ANKR. Ethereum node, you can do that with ANKR. And even Elrond, Chris, you can go ahead and spin up an Elrond node with ANKR. No technical skills required here. Push of a button and you are good to go. So ANKR's doing some fantastic things, not just for cloud resources being distributed in a decentralized way, but also supporting other blockchains as well. So it's quite a crucial thing. But let's go ahead, Chris, and actually pull up the chart here. So this is what we're looking at, right? We're seeing a nice rocket kind of go off, Chris, on this particular chart. So this is anchored to the USDT on the daily chart. We're using Binance as the data source, and we can see that we have our candlesticks here. We have a Fibonacci indicator. We have our volumes, we have the RSI, and we have the MACD. So we have several different indicators here showing us different things. Now, our Fibonacci retracement goes from this low level down here on the 27th of January and the high level that was achieved on the 22nd of February. We can see the retracements that happened, and we kind of consolidated quite nicely here at the 50% retracement zone. And most recently, once we got past and into that key area, like I say on most videos, when we get a close in that 786 area, we know we're expecting good things. And we also had a bit of a volatile here, a day here where we just didn't know what was happening on the 10th. It was going in both directions quite heavily, but actually got some steam, and we finally got things moving. We actually took out the first price target, guys, which is really interesting here. So this was 6.1 cent. That's the very first price target that we actually scoped out for the ANKR coin. And ultimately, we're still seeing this thing push a little bit further up. The second price target is 9.3 cents. So we're going to see how that becomes a reality. I think it's only really around the corner, but there are a few things that we can see in this chart on this daily. Okay, so the first thing that we, other than the fact that we hit that first price point, and we can see the candles here, the other thing to just note is the volumes are looking quite strong at this point, but the bigger macro view is still dwindling, right? If we have not seen the volume that we saw over here, for example. But yeah, if we look at a smaller time frame, those volumes are going up, so we'll have to see how that volume maintains an increasing motion. With that being said, the RSI is very much so overbought on this daily chart, and that's not going to be sustainable for too much longer. So on this daily chart, Chris, we have an RSI of 85. Bearing in mind, anything above 70 becomes the status of overbought, which means some people are going to be wanting to sell sometime soon to cash out some profits. So we'll just have to watch out on what happens there. Previously, this thing's got as high as 81, so 85 is quite high. The MACD only ever follows the RSI, so that's in a bullish statement as well, at the moment as well. So not too bad on that daily chart, other than the fact I'm expecting a bit of a pullback. Now, if we pull this into that 4-hourly view, Chris, here we can see that fantastic volume really kicking up nicely, and that's really good to see. We can see that the RSI, again, comes in at 83 on this 4-hour chart, so really, really high. And we can see we've had a little bit of a pullback with the wicks here on this 4-hour candle. And obviously the MACD is in a bullish state still as well. And main things to point out here is the volumes are still increasing every 4 hours, so that's interesting. And obviously we are not showing a decline in our RSI yet. It is incredibly high at 83, so we do expect that thing to pull down anytime soon. But let's pull this up into that 1-hour view, Chris. And from here we can see that actually there was a little bit of profit being taken just here, and this was coming up to that first price target, right? So if we break down this hourly view, we can see we hit that first price target, people were taking profits from there, and then still the bulls got control again and took it back to those all-time high area. So again, really good strong motions here on the candles. They're not showing any sign of slowing down at that point. We can actually see that on the hourly chart, Chris, the RSI had actually decreased from that 83 level down towards 73. And then from here, again, it's taken it back to that bullish statement and has now currently pushed it back up to 82. So this thing looks like it had a bit of a correction with some volume dropping. Volumes kicked back up again, bringing that RSI nice and high once again. So not as high as it has been. So there's still potential here for it to break another all-time high above and beyond that 6.6 that we spoke about earlier. So I think things are still playing out, Chris. I don't think we've seen quite the top yet. But once we do, it'll be pretty obvious because the volumes will start decreasing on the hour, and then we'll start being able to see the RSI decreasing. When that happens, you know, you're probably going to be coming down towards that 50, 40 area or so, and maybe potentially even lower. So some profits will be taken off the table. Now, if the volumes decrease nicely, we should be able to save some of the price that we've discovered. Now, if we pull this back up to that view, that daily view, for a bit of a summary there, we know that the RSI is high both on the daily view, the 4-hourly view, but the hourly view actually shows us something slightly different. It shows us that actually it had decreased ever so slightly before going back up again towards that 82 area. So the RSI is looking pretty good from the hourly view, and therefore it still has that potential to go a little bit higher and maybe even set a new all-time high above and beyond the high that we've seen today so far. The volumes are still increasing, but you know, there's going to eventually become a point in time where that starts to peter out and starts to decline a little bit. When that declines, we'd expect that RSI to pull back down, and ultimately we'll start to see some profits being taken from the traders. Hopefully we won't do too much damage to the price, and we'll have to review this chart within the next kind of 12 to 24 hours or so and see where the RSI lands, where the volumes are landing, and how quickly we might get another push to the upside, or whether or not we're going to have a deeper correction. But all of that should be visible by tomorrow, really, Chris, in a little bit more detail. So everything's looking pretty good at this point in time. I think we're coming towards the end of this push to that all-time high, and then we'll potentially come back down a little bit as well. Bearing in mind that we are going now after that second price target of 9.3 cent. But I do not think that's going to happen today or tomorrow. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a longer play. It could take a little bit longer just to play out those candles, correct some of the volumes, correct some of the RSIs, and then we should go ahead and try to take out that 9.3 cent. With that being said, there's two targets after that, 12.5 and 14.5, and both are looking very attractive at the moment. So Chris, yeah, everything looks pretty good for ANKR, setting some pretty good levels. And I think it's a little bit more in it, but not too much. And then we should start seeing this thing correct a little bit.
Exactly. No emotion here, Nick. You know, the right move made again. So really, really happy with that. You know, that's why I'm a little bit chipper, I guess, as some people would say. I think this is a fantastic project. I don't think there's a lot of people talking about it. And I know a few people said in the comments yesterday when we did the ANKR video, when I said, mark my words, others will start talking about it. And I think they will. I really do. I'll be surprised if we don't start seeing that, you know, very, very soon. Other channels will start talking about ANKR. And I think, you know, the fact that we're in super early and, you know, we haven't seen that just yet, I think, you know, it is testament to spotting this one. So, yeah, fantastic.
Fantastic. So guys, if you have found this useful and informative, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed, do consider subscribing. By subscribing, you're going to be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all this said and done, we hope everyone has a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Take care.